all of your power and all of your potential is inside you. It's in your inner game. It's all in the non-physical. And everything that blocks it, the stories that block you from your power, whenever you're blaming somebody else, what you're doing is you're claiming victimhood and giving someone else your power. If you don't do that, if you take responsibility for everything in your life, then you can change it. You can't change it if it's outside of you. It's not possible. The more you give, the more you get. So there's two basic emotions, and that's it. Love and fear. It's impossible to have fear in the non-physical. You can only have fear by going to the past.
You know, at the Awakened Man, we talk about guiding men to live a life of purpose on purposes. And I recognize that can mean a lot of things and it can be hard to define. What it boils down to is asking ourselves, are we living purposefully or just sleepwalking through life? You know, the thing is that when I started doing this work, I found a path to uncovering my life purpose, and it led me to do this work and helping men become the highest and best version of themselves. And today, my guest shares his path for living how you can do the same for yourself and living your life purpose. But before we get into that, if you're interested in raising your standards as a father, husband, and entrepreneur, then I encourage you to participate in our Band of Brothers group mentorship program. You know, we're a group of ordinary guys working towards living extraordinary lives. You can find us at the Awakened Man Training Academy at members.theawakenedman.net. And with that, let's get on with today's episode.
The average man today is sleepwalking through life, many never reaching their true potential, let alone ever crossing the finish line to living a purposeful life. Yet the hunger still exists, albeit buried amidst his cluttered mind, misguided beliefs, and values that no longer serve him. It's time to align yourself for greatness. It's time to become a revolutionary man. Stay strong, my brother.
Welcome, everyone, to the Revolutionary Man podcast. I'm the founder of the Awakened Man movement and your host, Alan DeMonso. Do you know what your life purpose is? And if so, how are you measuring your alignment? And if not, what would you be interested in finding a way to do just that? You know, living a purpose-driven life is the most fulfilling way that we can live, that we can truly find. And getting to live that life can be challenging for many of us. So we need a path, a map to help us get there. And today, my guest shares his insights for how that can happen. Allow me to introduce my guest. For more than 30 years, Bill Heinrich has thought that he had it all, living in a beautiful location, surrounded by material success of everything you could think of. And yet he felt unfulfilled, so much that he left it all behind. Today, he teaches high-level business executives how to live a life of passion, purpose, and prosperity. Welcome to the show, Bill. How are things today?
Everything's wonderful, Alan. Thank you very much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you so much for being on the show. And one of the things I really liked about your story is just about how I had described there. And so we always talk in our work here at the Awakened Man that we're all on our own hero's journey or a hero's quest. So tell us about a time when you decided things had to change. How did you come to do that? And how did that experience shape you into who you are today and the work you're doing?
Well, the simple explanation of it was I was so miserable, literally so miserable, that I walked away from my life almost 30 years ago. Literally walked away from my life, changed everything but my name, and went on a quest, Alan, to just find why I was what was the cause of my misery? What was going on? What was going on with life? I didn't understand life at all. And so that journey from when I walked away from my life almost 30 years ago brings me right here today talking to you. I'm still on the journey, but during that time, I've cracked the code. I've been working, teaching people how to live their life purpose now for 15 years. And everyone I work with, I give a 100% success guarantee. So with money back success guarantee. So the tools, the things I've uncovered are so powerful. It just blows your mind. And it's simple. It's very simple. So, you know, the whole change for me was to find out that source of my misery and then start getting connected to what I describe or call universal wisdom.
Mm.
And I started playing around with universal wisdom, and I was like, oh my God, wait just a second here. Wait just a second here. This is amazing.
Yeah.
The thing probably, there were a few turning points. Walking away from my life was one. The other one was after, I don't remember how long it was, after 6 months, 7 months, 8 months after, learning about life lessons.
Mm.
And when I learned about my life lessons, I thought I was crazy. But when I read my life lessons, I went, oh my God, that's me. Like, that's crazy. So here's my path out of this. So as I start leaving and working with that and I'm just digging into all kinds of things. I'm all in. And people talk about feng shui or Reiki or, that is very much spoken now. Everything was kind of still in the closet, so to speak, back then, to some degree. It's fascinating. All of these resources are available to us absolutely free. FREE, free. And if you explore those resources in what I describe as the non-physical world, the metaphysical world, the energetic world, as you explore those, you will find and learn things that's mind-blowing. And literally, I can change anybody's life in 60 minutes. I guarantee it. However, it needs to stick. And so there's other things that after that other information that they need so they can have more awareness and make better choices.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. I really like that. It comes to a point in our lives when we do become miserable, or we just get fed up, and we know that there's this time that we need to change, right? I think it's there's a saying that my reverend would say to me, you can either listen to spirit, tap you on the shoulder, or you can wait for the 2x4 to the side of the head. It's your choice. Mm-hmm. It's just going to come to us, and at some point in our lives, we need to recognize that we just listen.
Some of the things I've learned, and everyone listening to this, whatever I say is 1,000% true, because it's all based on vibration. Everything in the universe is a vibration. So one thing I've discovered is that we all have life lessons. There's 38 different life lessons passed. That means we're here to learn something. No matter what you're doing, whether it's work, home, social, anything you're doing in your life is a learning experience for these life lessons. And because you're here to learn things, and because these are life, LIFE lessons, that means here on earth.
Yeah.
Right? Then you come to earth and you have this massive blind spot. You can't see it. You live in boundaries of ignorance that are so tight, it's insane.
Yeah.
Because of these blind spots. And this is beyond a shadow of a doubt. Like, you give me your birth date, I'll tell you all about your life lessons right now. I can just go, boom, boom, boom. Here's what's going on. It's just very easy to do. So everybody gets stuck in the physical because we're here on earth living life. They get stuck surviving. Yes. And I give one of the keynote talks I give is on surviving or thriving. You can't thrive in the physical. You can only thrive in the non-physical. It's not possible in the physical. The physical is only about limitation, protection, work, lack of clarity, and suffering. That's all the physical is about. The non-physical is about infinite creation. Now, to play there, I mean, anybody can play there. You go there right now, just go meditate, sit, be still. Just let everything expand, see where you go. That's what the non-physical is. But the main thing it is it's detachment from the physical. Yeah. Right? The more you can detach from the physical, it doesn't mean you don't care. It doesn't, like I can just detach, boom,
Yeah.
right? And just be in that state, be in that energy. So interrupt me if you have a question. I'm going to go one more
Yeah. Keep going.
da-
This
down,
is good stuff.
down a different rabbit hole. I've studied this. My interest, Alan, is this. All the metaphysical, spiritual, and the people that do, whatever, seances and, oh, we're going to do this and he's going to channel. Let's forget that. Okay. What I'm interested in with this is how it can improve our life in the physical. That's all I care about. I don't care about where it takes us after. I don't care. It's how is it going to affect my life right here, right now? And the answer to that is pretty damn good. It's going to be pretty damn good, right? You know this,
Yeah.
right? So, how do you separate the two with clarity?
Yeah.
Okay. And understand where you are.
Mm.
There's only one way to do it. It's impossible to think your way into this because your mind can only access the past and your mind is only going to protect you.
Yeah.
When you're in the non-physical, there's nothing to protect. When you're in the non-physical, you're in a place of love. And with love, the more you give, the more you get. So there's two basic emotions, and that's it. Love and fear.
Yes.
Okay. It's impossible to have fear in the non-physical. It's impossible. You can only have fear by going to the past.
Isn't that true?
Only by going to the past.
Yeah.
So if you're in fear, your focus is in the physical and you're trying to protect something because you've got some story inside you that doesn't serve you. And that blocks you from being over in this playland that's so magical, you can't even describe, right, Alan?
That's right.
What other questions do you have?
Yeah, I just want to go back a little bit. What I really like about what you're saying, Bill, is that it's about the practical application
Mm-hmm.
of this piece as opposed to, and I like, and that's what I think for, especially for the work here with the men's work that I'm doing. It's about taking this supernatural, for lack of a better term, work and making it practical into our lives, and so that we get an opportunity to truly embody the parts of us that we've been denying, and that
Yeah,
aspect.
let me say it and I'll put a little more frosting on the cake. Okay. All of your power and all of your potential is inside you. It's in your inner game. It's in the non-physical. It's all in the non-physical. And everything that blocks it, the stories that block you from your power, whenever you're blaming somebody else, what you're doing is you're claiming victimhood and giving someone else your power. If you don't do that, if you take responsibility for everything in your life, then you can change it. You can't change it if it's outside of you.
Mm-hmm.
It's not possible.
Right.
And this is what people do. They're living this life of survival. Our lives are out of control. Like, let's just get clear about that. Our lives are completely out of control.
Yeah.
And the more you can grasp that concept, the happier you will be.
For
Because
sure.
then you can really go with the flow.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. And it's funny that we're having this conversation today, this month in my men's work. We're talking about how we define success. And last night at our men's circle, we talked about, I introduced the concept and the idea of the locus of control. And I was surprised that some of the guys in the group didn't understand that. And that locus of control is, where does something outside of you validate you? Or is the validation from within? And so how you define success gives you an opportunity to see how you see yourself and get a picture of that. And so it was really interesting conversation about how
Mhm.
in business, because there's some business guys in the group, they could see that they were in control, but they're having relationship challenges. And so all of a sudden now that locus of control goes outside of them. It's outside, but really it's still about you. It's about the change that we can do.
It's only about you. Period. End of conversation. It is only about you.
Yeah.
How someone else feels is none of your concern. If you come from a place of love and you say something that upsets them, so be it.
Mm-hmm.
Bless them. Hope they have a nice day.
Yeah.
You don't owe them an apology. They have some story inside of them where they're choosing to be wounded.
Yeah.
When you haven't wounded them, no need for that, right?
Yeah.
And people they live in the stories, they play the games. I wrote a book. In fact, I have a free gift for all your listeners. The book is called Clarity Has No Story.
Nice.
Clarity has no story. And you'll notice as I speak, I don't tell stories. I give you facts. I go right to clarity.
Yeah.
I keep it simple. That way it's easy to understand. Put it down to third or fourth grade language, like people where they go, oh, okay, yeah, like that makes sense,
Yeah.
because it's not about, I'm not here to convince anybody of anything. However, I am here with a golden invitation. And that invitation is to have the sweetest experience you can have on earth.
Mm.
And that experience is knowing your energetic self. And when you know yourself authentically, there is nothing that can touch it. Nothing, nothing, nothing. It's the best.
Right on. I just love that. There's such power in what you're saying there. And what the other thing that's really resonating for me is that I think that piece, and at least for me, I think the piece that really blocks us from finding our life purpose or living it are the stories that we tell. And I'm not sure in your
Well,
work if you find it's the stories or the meaning behind it that does that.
no, it's actually neither of those.
Interesting.
You know what it is? It's people living in the physical.
Yeah.
They're equating their purpose to what they're doing in the physical.
Interesting.
They're in survival. Oh no, this is my purpose. It's like, guess what? I guarantee you it is not your life purpose. Well, you don't know what you're talking about. Actually, I know exactly what I'm talking about, and I can prove it because it's the energy you do everything with. It isn't what you do, it's who you're being. Who are you being? If you're coming from a place of fear, you're stuck in the physical. That's okay. We're here on earth. You're supposed to have that experience and you're supposed to have feelings. That's quite all right. But anytime you want, you can just choose to step into the energy of love and know that that's going to make any situation better, no matter what the outcome of it is. Whether you like the outcome of it or not, coming from a place of love isn't going to make it worse. Coming from fear and getting in chaos will. It's like that simple.
That makes so much sense, and why it makes so much sense that it is about the energy. It's about
That's all it's about.
and the energy to me also says it's that intention, that
Oh,
how I'm
absolutely.
feeling about that is what drives that motor forward.
What's in front of you in your life right now is a manifestation of your energetic being.
Mm.
You want to change what's in front of you? Change your energy. It'll change as that fast. Boom, done.
Yeah,
That's how fast it happens on the other side. There's no time limits over there. Boom, 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 boom. Things can happen. It's just so much fun.
yeah.
That's all it takes.
For sure.
I work with executives, entrepreneurs, own companies. Been doing it a long time. I'm quasi business coach. I really teach them how to live with extreme happiness without sacrificing success. And we never talk business. There's no reason to talk business. You know why? Because when you have clarity about who you are and you're conscious enough to be able to make choices for yourself in the moment, know that you're in the moment, know where you are, you have all the answers you need for business. You'll never get stuck. I guarantee it. You'll never be stuck, and you won't stress over it because it's just a choice needs to be made at some point. There's some timing on it. That's it. You'll never get stuck. As long as your energy, you'll be fine. And everybody around you will also, this energy is like poison ivy. It just spreads, man. You can't. What's fascinating about energy, Alan, is when you're talking to somebody, they can be in their mind, intellectually, and they're thinking about how they're going to respond and thinking about what you're saying and all that. But if I'm here with you and really connecting to what you're saying and the energy of it,
Yeah.
we're having a totally different conversation.
Oh, absolutely. And the dynamic and the dynamic piece that's happening with us in that, in that it's like it's like seeing the two candles, and they put lit candles, you put them together, that flame grows enormously, right? I remember
Right.
seeing that for the first time. I was just like floored. That's really what happens with these
That's it.
relationships, and the energy
it.
connects, and how that grows. And like you said, that poison ivy can either be positive or negative. It's our choice in how we want to shift that energy and how we want to show up.
You're exactly correct. It's just a choice, and it's so damn contagious. And the beauty of it is when you start gaining awareness and you make a choice, you don't have to do push-ups for 30 days, do you, Alan?
No.
Right? What happens when you make a choice? Boom, you get the results. It's instant gratification.
And we love instant gratification.
I love it. And what's better than having instant gratification that you created because of your intention? It shows up, yeah, that's it. That's how I ended up living in an RV. I manifested this whole thing. And I half years. And when I began in January of 2019, I had no idea on earth how this could ever happen.
For sure.
No idea. Right.
Well, and that's that trust and faith aspect of it, right? And so far too many of us have to have, far too many of us guys think we need to have all the answers, all the steps of the path from A to B, and all we need to know is to take one step.
But the truth is, all the answers that people need to have, these are answers that they need to give to defend their position in life. The problem is whether or not this works. The problem with them, and I see this all the time because my energy is so strong, I scare the hell out of people, right? Like if they're resistance to change and everything, I'm not somebody they hang around with. I can tell you that right now. But what happens is they get it, and have this reflection of that energy where they're seeing themselves, where something happens, and you start touching the magic. And once you take one step in that direction, it's over, because you get to do what you want to do. You get to play with what you want to play with. Like, I love skeptics. If there's any skeptics listening to this that think this is all just crazy, go to speaktobill.com and you can do a 20-minute consultation with me. I'm all out of skeptics. I've run out. So I'm always looking for more, because the evidence is overwhelming.
Yeah, absolutely. I notice also in your work, you talk about 3 important keys that we should have in order to live our life purpose. Describe what those are for us, please.
Well, here's what really needs to happen. One, you have to go through an honest assessment
Mm.
of what's standing in your way, blocking you and holding you back. You need to uncover everything that's creating negative energy in your life. So the first thing that is your family. You chose your family to learn lessons. You have learned so many things there that don't serve you anymore. It's ridiculous. And once you start getting a clearer understanding of who you are, it's really easy to change those. The important thing is in this assessment, okay, here's what's important. We are constitutionally incapable of being honest with ourselves.
Mm.
Let me repeat that.
Yeah.
We are not capable of being honest with ourselves. So there's only one way. Well, let me give you the 3 steps. Go through that assessment. I've developed something in that assessment I take people through. It's called the challenge wheel. We uncover everything. We want to know about everything. These aren't issues. These aren't problems. These are all opportunities, because the more you know about each of them, the easier it is to make a choice
Mm.
and go, oh, here, this is that sabotage thing. You know what? I'm just going to go watch TV. I'm not going to do anything right now. I'm going to do nothing, just watch TV. You've made a choice and you haven't sabotaged yourself. And whether that's going out drinking, whether it's whatever it may be, you make a new choice as you become aware of. And there's many different things. So the assessments first. The second thing is you got to understand that you have divine energies. We have chakras. We have chakras, 7 chakras, go from the root to the crown. There's 7 distinct energies. From the root, they start with divine compassion, divine creation, divine order, divine healing, divine authentic self-expression, divine truth, and divine power at the crown chakra. We all have those same 7 energies, but we have them, now get this, no 2 proportions are the same. There's billions of combinations of this energy. This is what makes your life purpose, is this energy.
Mm.
This is your life purpose. It's the energy. It's who you're being. It's letting this energy flow. So here's what happens is this energy, here's the funny thing. You have all this energy right now. You just don't recognize it. Like it's flowing through you right now, but because you don't know what it is, you're experiencing the penalties from it.
Mm.
And once you learn about these, the proof is overwhelming. And now you get connected to your power. You've been in survival, and the energy you've been using is to protect yourself, and that's never a good energy. So that's always going to come out negatively, right?
Right.
That's what you breathe, whether you know it or not. That's what you breathe. Because, and the third thing is the life lessons. You've got to understand the life lessons. Now you know. First, you've done an honest assessment. Then you go through and you see the penalties. And once you see the penalties, they're gonna line up with the assessment. They have to, right?
Yeah.
And same with the life lessons. You'll see the penalties in your life lessons. Everything will line up. Everything.
Hmm.
So now that you gain this awareness, you can start making choices, because there's only one thing in life. I'm going to say this slowly. There's only one thing in life I found to be true. Only one thing. That's how we feel. That's the only
Hmm.
thing, Alan, that you and I can connect on. We can connect on energy. We can connect on sadness. We can connect with love. We can connect with anger. Well, like we know this is the only thing we have in common. We don't have anything else in common.
Right.
That's what creates authentic connection, is the energy.
Yeah.
It has to be there.
Yeah.
So if you don't know, like I was a nutcase before it took God, I bet it took 4 years as I began my journey just to get my head out of my ass. I mean, literally, just I didn't even know what a feeling was,
Yeah.
honestly, right? But as I started to learn, I started making better choices. And it ends up, of course, I've been doing this a long time. People are a lot more open to it now. Back when I was doing it, there was just tremendous resistance. There still is now because people are afraid of change, you
Yeah.
know. But it's having the opportunity to know you and to feel you is the greatest experience on earth. Period. End of conversation.
Absolutely. And that's the work really for many men around the world. It's to be able to get in tune and touch with our feelings. And I know that for some guys, that's giving them the cringes and the hair stand up on the back of their neck. But the challenge is that we haven't learned how to do that. And so instead, what we've
Hey,
been learned is to suppress it and disconnect from it. But what
well,
we're
it's
talking about today is being able to feel into it and integrate as it so we can be whole.
even more appealing is we were taught that that's pain and problems.
Yeah.
Those are issues. That's what we were taught.
Mm.
But let me tell you the truth. They're a vein of gold because they're going to take you to a story that's going to show you why you're living such a lousy life, how you can change things, but the only thing that will take you there is the vibration, the energy of how you feel. If you're pissed off, go look at the story. Is if you're pissed off, you're protecting something. Somebody's done something that's infringed on you, which it's all BS.
Yeah.
It's all based on some story. Go look at it. Do you want to feel that way? Let it go. See what happens. Let it go once and just see what happens. Right. I have this is a real quick story. I have a client's worked with me for a long time. My clients work with me a long time. Right now, my average clients work with me about 5 years.
Wow.
All my individual clients. Well,
Yeah.
we're in expansion. It's just
Yes.
one client just left. It was with me 8 years. Right. This stuff that's how exciting this is. But anyways, I'm working with the dad. The son now works with the father in a financial business, and the son is not doing his job as well as it could be. And he's blocking stuff, like we can see things, and they got the father son thing going on. So I said to him, finally, his son is in my group coaching. I coach his dad one-on-one. I said to his son, I said, listen, when your father walks in and asks about something that isn't done, first I asked him if he wanted an assignment. Do you want to drive a Volkswagen the rest of your life, or do you want to jump in the Ferrari lane? He said,
Yeah.
I want to go in the Ferrari lane. I said, okay, I've got an assignment for you then. He's like, ooh, I don't know if I want to be in a Ferrari now. But he agreed to it. I said, here's all you have to do. Your father walks in because you're not always on top of the paperwork. We know that. When he looks at you and says, hey, did you take care of this for so-and-so? And it isn't done, you have to look at him and say this verbatim. I'm sorry, that isn't done. I'll take care of that right now. And you get up and go take care of it. No BS, no stories, nothing around it. His father walks in and asks that, right? We stripped all the stories out. We took the defensiveness out. His father walks in and asks that. He says that to his father. He gets up to go get his paperwork. His father tells me, when I meet with him 3 days later, I said, how was your week? He said, well, here's the best thing that happened. And he tells me about this. And he goes, I just stood there and found 15 minutes and I was in the state of shock. I didn't know what to do with the extra time because I didn't have to listen to the whole story. And I asked his son was like, it felt good. It's like, it's responsible. Yeah. Like he had that experience.
Yeah.
And instead of the reaction and the story and the defensiveness, no, I haven't done it. Mandy called before and I had to take care of that. And and I went and the cat had cat threw up this way, blah, 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 instead of, that's the way people live life. Great example.
Yeah, no kidding. And it's so true, right? We get stuck in the stories of our life as we're
Mhm.
always, we're mansplaining everything in our lives
But
when we just take action and that shift that
let's,
energy.
well, let's reword that. Okay. Let's not live in the story, because
Yes.
when you live in the story, you're in reaction.
Mm-hmm.
Something happens and you react a certain way based upon that story in the past. Okay. So here's how we're going to flip the switch. Number one, don't go into reaction, but when you see you're going into reaction, stop and spell reaction. Because if you take the C out of reaction and you put it on the front, you can step into creation.
Mm.
And when you step into creation, now you can make a choice to keep your energy that's going to be good for you. This isn't selfish. This is self-love.
Yeah.
This is called self-love. You got stuff going on inside of you, go get it straightened out. The people outside of you are just reminding you of what you need to clean up. That's all.
Yeah.
And they're gold mines. You clean them up and your life changes, and then miracles just boom, 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 boom. It's just crazy. So it's so much fun. I mean,
Yeah. Way more empowering way to live. That's for darn sure.
you know, it's so gratifying
Yeah.
to sit here and be connected with you. I don't care what comes out of this. I'm just going to share the best I have based on the questions for the benefit of everyone involved. That's all I'm going to do. The rest of it doesn't matter. It isn't, was I good? Was he good? No, we connected, we're authentic, and people can feel that energy. No question about it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The other thing I noticed in your work is you talk about this 92% success factor. Tell me a little bit about what you mean by that, and how do we implement that in our lives?
Great. So, what what percentage of your potential do you think you're using?
Oh, I don't know if it'd be 92%. It's probably sitting around
No.
70 if on a
Yeah.
good day.
No, no. Believe me, the reason I call it the 92% success factor is you're using less than 8%.
Yeah, there we go.
You're using 8%,
Fair enough.
right? Now that your comment you made is very interesting. You want to look at that and say, wow, why would I want to say it would be that high when I know there's more I want to manifest? You see how your mind is working,
Absolutely.
right? It might be easier to go, I'm not really sure, you know? And I don't know if you're familiar with muscle testing. I was in a group, a high level
Mhm.
group a few years ago. We muscle tested this, and it came out that we were missing out on 92.4% of our potential. We're
Wow.
living, we're living in this 5, 6, 7% of our potential. It's really true, Alan, right?
Yeah.
So let's say I'm wrong. Let's say we're living in 20 and we're missing out on 80. Let's say we're living in 40 and we're missing out on 60. I know one thing, everybody's missing out on a lot because there's a lot of suffering in the world.
Yeah.
Okay. And everybody isn't living on a mansion of the ocean. So people are trying to figure out how to tap their potential. So what's blocking your potential? What's blocking your potential is you look at your potential like it's outside of you because you're after the physical manifestation, when in fact your potential is just energy. And the way you activate it is find the things that are blocking it, crack open a few more holes in the dam, and let more good energy flow into your life. That's your potential and that's your power. That's what ignites other things. And the more you do that, the more you ignite things. In the pandemic, I was in a mastermind group. I'm gonna, it was a spiritual group, but I don't know. But they're, oh, I'm going to pivot. I'm pivoting and pivoting. They're going around. Bill, what are you going to do? I said, I'm going to go sit on the couch. I'm not going to do anything. What do you mean? I said, it's no different now than it was before. Our lives were out of control before. They're just, oh, it's a little more physical and easy to see at this moment because of the pandemic. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
My life hasn't changed at all. In fact, it's getting better because there's less commotion out there. So it makes it, there's more peace and harmony and balance anywhere I go outside because there's no people, you know.
Yeah. Well, and thank you so much for bringing that clarity. And I was having that sense when you asked me the question, and I had said, and I gave my numbers and I gave my response, and I was sitting there and listening to what you were saying about it. I'm going, yeah, I'm measuring that against something physical, something that I'm going to manifest and I'm going to see, right? But the it's a trick question, because the trick question is really about what potential, my energy potential, how much am I tapping into my energy? And I think
that is your potential.
Absolutely it is. And I think that's
and
where
you're doing what everybody does is they look at your mind sends you to the physical.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah. It's just,
look at language. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What does love look like?
It's a good one.
It's impossible to describe.
Absolutely.
Because there's too many versions of it. That's potential manifesting. Mm. What does abundance look like? Abundance is a way of being. We don't know how it manifests. What does gratitude look like? Mm. Gratitude's a way of being. You don't get into gratitude and do things so people can see me and go, oh, isn't he? Look at, he donated, he did this. And that's not giving, that's taking. I want to be seen. I want to be recognized. Yeah. Right? Gratitude, giving is giving with no strings attached, period. Just giving as invisibly as you possibly can.
Yeah.
That's pure love.
For sure. Unconditional.
So when people talk about abundance, they think of money. No. What about time abundance?
Yeah.
Right? There's abundance. There's nothing but abundance in the universe. And when I look at potential, I think that there's a decimal point on the amount that I use. And the reason I say that is because now I know how vast it is out there. I know how much is out there. I'm not looking at the physical.
Yeah.
Right. In fact, it should be a decimal point with a bunch of zeros like cryptocurrency, right? Of how much potential I use when you look at the infinite universe, because I'm connected to the universe. I'm allowing just energy. I'm going with the flow. I'm feeding that energy, right?
Yeah.
So my potential is in action, and I don't care what shows up. So, and I don't need to own any potential, because in the physical, I'm nothing. Of me, I am nothing. Hmm. Everything I'm sharing with you is not mine.
Yeah.
Somehow I've been through an experience that has allowed me the ability to tap into this wisdom and to share it with other people. That's all it is.
Right on.
So I love these podcasts because they're so much more fun than teaching. Because when I'm teaching. But in the podcast, I'm in a spontaneous conversation and I have no idea what's going to come out.
Absolutely. The connection is just so different during in a podcast, because you're absolutely right. Because while I had a few questions and stuff to talk about, really I'm looking for the guidance of where is this conversation going to go? Mm-hmm. Because that's where the juice is in the conversation. It's not about getting through a list of something.
It's funny. I did an interview earlier with a fellow on a business one, and he's a real control freak, right? And so a very nice, very, very nice fellow. But here's the way the show's going to go, and then here's these questions that I'm going to ask you. And inside I'm going, we'll see about that. I don't, he never asked one of them. Once we started, I took him down the rabbit hole. And when we got finished, all he did was shake his head and say, okay, because it was a half-hour show, I got to have you back on. But first, I need to go through this tape again and again. You've said so many things,
Yeah.
So it's really funny because once he connected to my energy, we were off and running.
Absolutely. And then that's where we can build on it. Right. And so one of the questions that I have been asking more and more of my guests, because I'm always interested to hear the perspective of this piece is, and the question I have for you is, what does legacy mean to you?
Legacy, as it's understood, means nothing to me. What it means to me is that I have come to understand the reason that I'm here. And my commitment is to make the best use of my time from now until when I transition back to my normal form, energy, that I've shared this with as many people as possible. The rest doesn't matter. I know what this is. This is the crowning piece of life on earth. It is the crowning piece. You have a life beyond your wildest dreams. You just have to understand the energy piece.
Yeah.
Once you understand it and you live from that energy side, anything's possible.
Absolutely.
Everything in the physical is an illusion, and they're interruptions and disruptions. That's all you're getting in the physical. They're going to come. So don't go into reaction. It's guaranteed.
Yep. That is just beautiful.
Yeah. What we think is going to happen ain't happening. Right.
That's for sure. That's for sure. That's beautiful. I love how you frame that, Bill. Of everything that we've spoken about today, maybe there was something we didn't get around to talking about. What would be the one takeaway you'd want our listeners to have with us?
Everybody's different. Everyone is uniquely different. You do not have to be the same. You don't have to look the same, nor do you have to sound the same as anyone around you. When you speak from your heart, you will have your own natural, beautiful sound and choices that will attract other people to you. When you live from fear, you get to go live with the wolves. That's all that's over there. But when you come to the other side, it all becomes so easy. Yeah. It all becomes so easy. So come from a place of love and don't defend anything. No defensiveness. Like you defended your ego when I asked that question. Right? Do you see how you did that? Your ego was all over that. Right?
Yeah.
When in fact, when I explain it to you and you understand that all of your potential sits in the universe, what percentage of the universe can you claim?
Yeah.
Right? And do you want that 40% that your head talked about, or do you want this other piece? It's your choice. You can have either. I know which way I'm going, and it ain't George Allen.
Man, that is outstanding. I just want to say thanks so much, Bill, for being on the show today. I really appreciated giving an opportunity for men to really understand the spiritual energies that we are as beings, and having an opportunity to tap into and find and live our life purpose. So if they were interested in getting involved with your work and getting in touch with you, what would be the best way for them to do that?
Well, if anyone wants to do a clarity session, you go to speaktobill.com, and you can get a quick 20-minute clarity session. We can see if we have anything in common. My book, which it covers everything I talked about, is on Amazon. The name of it is The 7 Levels of Truth, dealing with these 7 distinct energies. Nice. 7 Levels of Truth by Bill Heinrich. My website is True Life Purpose Now. I'm on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, all those places. And then I have a free book, Clarity Has No Story. They can go to myfreebook.me and download a free book, Clarity Has No Story.
Love it.
Yeah, but it's been really great. Thank you. It's been a very stimulating conversation, to say the least.
Well, I've really appreciated this. Thank you so much for being on the show. And I'm sure we're going to get back together again very soon.
I love that. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Revolutionary Man podcast. Are you ready to own your destiny? To become more the man you are destined to be? Join the brotherhood that is the Awakened Man at theawakenedman.net and start forging a new destiny today.